In the wake of violence in Charlotte, North Carolina, there is unease around the country tonight.
We have reactions from Charlotte, Compton, and USC right now on See It Live.
As night has fallen, tension continues to dominate the streets of Charlotte, North Carolina. I'm Tommy Brooksbank.
And I'm Tiffany Brevard. Violent protests started Tuesday night. Protests broke out after a black man, Keith Lamar Scott, was shot by a black police officer. The violent protest prompted North Carolina Governor Pat McCrory to declare a state of emergency in Charlotte. 4 officers were injured and 1 resident was killed in the chaos.
Police say Scott was holding a gun and posed a threat to officers, but his family and witnesses claim he was holding a book. Police are allowing Scott's family to view police body cam video, but they are not releasing the video to the public. Scott's family still has not spoken to the media since the shooting. Their family attorney spokesman this afternoon on their behalf, saying, quote, "This family does not agree with rioting or innocent individuals being injured or killed. I haven't seen any evidence, none of you have seen any evidence that a gun was there." Now, Charlotte Police Chief Kerr Putney says the video does not show any, quote, definitive visual evidence that Scott pointed a gun. Police say other evidence supports their narrative of what happened.
Here holding an event tonight where the issue of police brutality will be discussed. Annenberg Media's Kristen Lago joins us now with the Executive Director of USC's BSA. Kristen?
Thanks, Tiffany. Alia Bethia is the Executive Director of the Black Student Assembly, an umbrella organization on campus which sponsors all recognized Black student organizations. Tonight, the BSA is holding Hands Raised, a panel discussion on police brutality in and out of the classroom. Alia, thank you for being here tonight. So first of all, with all that has happened this week and just this past Tuesday with the shooting of Keith Scott in Charlotte, when you first heard about that story, when that news first broke, what was your gut reaction and how are you feeling about it now 2 days later?
My gut reaction was to reach out to my community and see how people were doing. These types of injustices have been occurring for a very long time, and we are repeatedly being forced to interact with these images on social media, when we're watching the news, and right now my main concern is trying to make sure that my community is healing and that they know that they have support in the BSA community for them.
Yeah, and with the panel discussion, I'm assuming that was planned sort of before this happened, but now that it has, and with all the police shootings that we've seen, it sort of hits a little bit closer to home, I would think. And so at the panel tonight, what are you hoping to discuss? What are you hoping to get across, and who are we expecting to hear from?
Well, this panel this evening, as you said, was planned before the most recent releases of information. But one of the things that we're hoping that we see tonight is that people find the space, one, where they can engage in a dialogue with other students, with other individuals who may be feeling the same type of pain that they are feeling, who are questioning what's going on, people who are seeking answers. This will be a space for us to kind of strategize, think of what more can we do, because we've cried, we've yelled, we've gathered, we've protested for so long about these things, and we're all exhausted. So this evening, hopefully students can really come together and talk about some of these issues, talk about the most recent releases of information, and just really try to come together and learn a little bit more about how we are addressing these issues in the community and how we are processing these issues in the community. One thing in particular that we're looking at is the trauma, the mental and physical trauma that comes along with these situations and how it's really so difficult to process. So hopefully this evening will provide a space for both educational and emotional dialogue.
Yeah, and so you were touching on sort of how your community has been dealing with this social injustice for so long, and there's this level of unrest that's sort of hitting an all-time high right now. So what other initiatives have you seen or have you heard of, either in the Los Angeles area or on campus levels across universities across the United States? What are people trying to do to process these things and to make change in their communities?
Yeah, particularly because people process these types of emotions that come up so differently. Some people right now are feeling numb. Some people are crying. Some people can't wake up to go to class. So there's really, what I've seen, a lot of diversity in terms of the type type of outreach that people are practicing for this type of thing. So on Friday, we will be participating in the National Blackout, where we're asking people to wear all black in solidarity with people who are trying to really process and come to grips or trying to cope with what's going on, as also trying to really seek change for these things. And so when people are wearing all black on Friday, we ask that you greet another person that you may see in all black, hug them, comfort them. And that's one initiative that's going on a national level, and I'm even hearing reaching international that is going on that I think is really impactful as well.
Yeah, so I heard about the blackout that's going on, but I know there's kind of two sides to the way people are dealing with these issues. There's people who are just so tired of all this unrest, and there's violence happening, and we've seen protests and demonstrations, and then we have these sort of silent protests where it's standing in solidarity, dealing with that traumatic ordeals that are happening. So which do you think is the way to go in terms of making the change that you want to see accomplished, and how do you think how do you hope that your message is going to get across at the national level?
I don't think there's a right or wrong way to approach it, but we at the Black Student Assembly certainly believe that you can't fix something if you yourself are broken, and that's why it's really important for us to provide healing spaces for our constituents. We, as the executive board of the Black Student Assembly, gave out our contact information to our constituents so they know they can reach us on a personal level whenever they need someone to talk to. We're hosting events like the one this evening so people can engage in that dialogue. We're hosting the one on Friday so people can participate, but we're not asking them to overcommit or maybe extend themselves in a way that they can't. So there's really no right or wrong way, but making sure that we are practicing self-care and providing spaces for us to heal and really come together and strategize is most important, in my opinion, particularly because, like I said, we've done the crying, we've done the yelling, we've been doing it all for so long. So we're really looking to strategize and find a way to let people know in any way that we matter, that our voices should be heard. And at this point, we're so exhausted that it's like, what more can we do? And it's really to look inside and try and take care of ourselves before we continue to exhaust ourselves any further.
So at the USC level in particular, are these sort of things that you go back when you meet with the rest of the BSA members? Is that how you're looking forward? You're talking a little about strategizing for the future. Are we going to see more events like this happening more frequently on our campus in particular?
I think we're definitely going to see a lot more community-based activities, really trying to make sure we're providing that foundation for our students at home to heal, to cope, to express themselves. And a thing that I really pride myself in as a leader is listening to what the community needs and what the community wants. So we're seeing right now that there is a deficiency in spaces for students to really share and, kind of step away from what's going on for a moment. So we're really proud of trying to prepare and present more of those options. But in the future, whatever really needs to be done, we're going to be working to do for sure.
All right, Alia, well, thank you so much for being with us here tonight. Good luck with the panel. And guys, back to you.
We wanted to know more about what students think of the violence in Charlotte, and we spoke with several students within the Black Student Assembly. And now back to you, Tommy.
A group of about 30 people gathered in front of the Compton Sheriff's Station today to protest the recent police killing of 31-year-old Dante Taylor. Police say that after they approached Taylor on the street, he pulled out a gun and fled from deputies. Officers say he pointed a gun at them, and that's when he was shot and killed.
We've come here 3 weeks later after this killing to ask a question. And that question is simply, where is the gun? Where is the gun that you say that Dante Taylor had when you executed him and killed him on this night?
Friends, family, and many civil rights organizations are demanding that the Department of Justice look into the matter further.
It's about getting some justice for my nephew. My nephew not stupid. He ain't crazy. He's not going to point a gun at your police. He's not going to do nothing like that.
Protesters say they will continue their fight against police brutality. Now, through the years, Los Angeles has had its share of officer-involved violence. This, of course, reached an all-time high during the Rodney King riots of 1992. Since then, the Los Angeles Police Department has put in place a series of protocols to deal with protests more peacefully and effectively. This includes implicit bias training for all officers involved protest regulation. More police officers are also commissioned if the protest is in high crime rate areas. And the style of policing has evolved from meeting protesters with force to instead trying to negotiate with them. These policies have helped LAPD officer-involved shootings drop significantly, but there's still room for improvement. Between 2010 and 2014, there were almost 450 reported officer-involved shootings in Los Angeles County. We spoke with one sergeant in the LA County Sheriff's Department who says the agency tries to avoid violent encounters whenever possible.
How we intervene, it depends on the size of the crowd, the emotion of the crowd, the commitment level of the crowd, will all influence what our response will be. We'll try and negotiate with people to get them to comply and not be boisterous and violent and tumultuous. We would rather not have a confrontation. We are not looking for a confrontation with anybody, believe me.
Many LAPD officers have body cameras. Advocates of these cameras say they can guard against officer misconduct and also clear officers who were falsely accused.
Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump reacted to the recent police violence on Twitter. The presidential candidates both called for an end to the violence. Donald Trump called for unity, tweeting, "The situations in Tulsa and Charlotte are tragic. We must come together to make America safe again." Hillary Clinton also personally responded on Twitter, signing her tweet with an H, Keith Lamont Scott, Terrence Crutcher, too many others. This has got to end. The presidential candidates aren't the only ones taking to social media to share their thoughts on the unrest in Charlotte. Let's take a live look at trending hashtag with Charlotte protests. So it looks like surprise, hashtag Charlotte riots. It's being allowed to trend. It's a little too close to truth by Twitter standards, hashtag Charlotte protest. Let's scroll down and look at a few more. Yeah, it seems like a lot of these are very sensitive. A lot of people are being affected by this protest. So now let's take a look at some of the celebrities' tweets. Looks like Steph Curry said, "Praying for my city. We deserve better than this." Hashtag Keith Lamont Scott. And then even Magic Johnson, he said, "This is happening too often. The senseless shootings in Tulsa and Charlotte are powerful reminders of how much work has to be done in America." And he also followed by saying, "My prayers go out to the families of Keith Lamont Scott and Terrence Crutcher. May God give you comfort and peace during this difficult time." And even one from Lin-Manuel Miranda, "Keith Lamont Scott, Terrence Crutcher, never coming home. Black Lives Matter. God help us. Black Lives Matter."
Yeah, these have all just been really trending all over social media today. And I think really where the country is at is we really just want to be able to get to a resolution of the conflict peacefully without any more people getting hurt or any more officer, confrontations.
Yes, exactly. And it seems as though a lot of people are being affected by this protest, and there's definitely a controversy going on of whether people think it's a protest or a riot. So hopefully we can get some clarity soon.
Definitely, definitely. Well, thanks for watching See It Live. From everyone in Annenberg Media, I'm Tommy Brooksbank.
And I'm Tiffany Brevard. You can watch us on the web at uscannenbergmedia.com. Stay tuned for The Current.